Welcome to Steve's grooming salon.
There's an old guy riding a bike in front of my house, and of course Daisy wants to tear him a new ass. This is episode 92. Of course, we welcome back Bill from Illinois. How you doing, Bill?
All right. How are you?
Good, good. Wearing your Lions polo shirt. He likes to keep it real.
Keep it sanitary.
You need my non-sports polo shirt. Do not have a Lions polo shirt.
Oh, Charles is sanitizing. We're supposed to sanitize?
Steve still got his Jergens in the corner.
I still got lotion. Oh, man. I have some dry skin, man. I went out and bought some new conditioner, the Head & Shoulders conditioner. Go with my Head & Shoulders. The flakes are huge here, so I have to work on that.
The Steve with the flake report. Because you're wondering what the flake situation is on Steve.
Well, we had big flakes for snow this week.
We had big flakes. Speaking of dandruff, we had a decent amount of snowfall.
We did. There's like an inch or two the other day. Goddamn Daisy. But anyways.
Dude.
Been quiet for the last hour. And then right when I go get on here. So we're going to look at some WWE news. Now, I know we told everyone we're not going to watch wrestling. This is wrestling news outside the ring, right? So this isn't from Bill and I watching it. It's just stuff we've caught. And some of it's pretty interesting. So first up, though, like we always like to do, is check in on the Corona update. Anything
Corona cast. Here we go.
The Corona cast. I did check in with the folks down in Kentucky. Holly's got a trash bag as she walks by. It's a whole zoo over here.
Look at the terrible sweatshirt she's wearing too.
That is Shawn Mendes.
Oh, I thought that was a James Charles sweatshirt.
No. That's the original crush, Shawn Mendes. Now, she asked us the other day, she goes, how old do I have to be before I get a tattoo?
Oh, so it begins.
I said 18. If you can vote and stuff, I feel you should be able to get a tattoo. Now,
you can die for your country.
So she's taking suggestions. You two have a suggestion for Holly? No? Okay.
Wait until you have one that makes sense.
Yeah.
I said the Apple logo on one arm and the Nike logo on the other. That seems.
What
to be
did
the
she
most...
say she wanted? Because something tells me she wants one. What is she?
Yeah, she's not saying. I don't know. I was just asking.
Okay.
Which who knows? By the time she's 18, I don't know if Shawn Mendes might be an old man and not be up to her standards, but who knows?
Steve hosts away, chuckling his way through this.
I'm telling you, these remote podcasts are hard on me, I swear.
Dude, what is the problem with being a remote? It's weird.
I don't know. It just messes me up. So I did check in with our relatives down in Kentucky.
You want to take a moment to collect your thoughts and all?
No, I got it. I talked to Christopher this weekend, our nephew. They're all doing good down there in Kentucky. They're on lockdown too, so his dorm is shut down, so he's at home, working from home online. I said most of his classes are pretty easy except for chemistry. He said chemistry online is rough. You just read from an old book, write reports, and take tests, and he said it kind of sucks.
Yeah, chemistry is probably one of those ones that'd be easier with a little more hands-on application, a little more practicality to it.
Just writing reports on chemistry. Yeah.
What's that, BV?
Need some lab time.
Yeah.
So imagine just writing reports on chemistry and taking tests. Ooh, that's got to be rough. And now there's a new game that our sister is hooked on, and our niece Marion. They're hooked on the Animal Crossing from
the Switch, the new one.
Yeah.
It's really popular.
He said they got like 80 hours in on that game already. So they're really. You'd swear I have like.
Close your door. That's what you probably need to do. Oh, look, this is a stellar podcast. Hold on, America, while Steve closes his doors. Wearing a 7X T-shirt and some sweatpants. Steve dressed
it looks like it looks like he has a tent draped over. That's a great ass, though.
He can't close his door. He's got too much crap on it.
He's got too much crap at my door.
He's got a 7X Marvel Comics T-shirt.
God, it's so comfortable.
That might be the biggest T-shirt I've ever seen in my life.
It's just huge.
How many X's is that? No bullshit. How many X's is that?
It's a 5.
You got the Cinco X, baby. You got the Cinco.
That's a 5 times 2.
I know. I don't know why it's so big. Usually they're not this big on me, but this particular one.
That one is
right,
huge,
like
Steve.
But it's comfortable.
All right. So anyway, back to this professional podcast we're working on today.
So now, one of the big news, and we made national news on this one, is Lansing this week. Yeah. Our state proved that we have a lot of rednecks, and they had a big protest up there. Did you catch that, Charles?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I do have some frustration with the current closures, as we've kind of chronicled on this show. I think that she's gone a little over the board with maintaining your house. You still need to do that, but like, I'm not jumping out of a car with 16,000 people or whatever they were saying was supposed to take part in this. They're all nuts. Like, no thanks, dude. I get your point there, Kid Rock, but I'll stay at home. No thanks. Crazy.
I built it. It being in Illinois, did they show any of this on your news or local?
It was on local news. It was on national news. It was all over the place.
Yeah. They basically stopped the traffic. So like they drove up there and then they all kind of left their cars around the Capitol building. The big thing is too, as Daisy's still patrolling the neighborhood, it's worse than games.
This is gonna go on all night.
This is a little slice of Steve's life here. Yeah. The worst part is, like, they block the routes to the hospitals and stuff like that. So it's pretty nutty. Yeah, the whole thing was just really off base, I thought. But whatever. In 2 weeks' time, when they end up extending the lockdown, I'm going to laugh. Like, way to go, rednecks.
Yeah, we really proved that we have a good source of rednecks outside of the South.
Yeah.
But I respect their, their right to protest and, express what they do and didn't like. So at the same time, though, we didn't look too great on national news. But then they say it didn't look too good for Whitmer either, because a lot of people are thinking she's going to be the candidate for vice president for Joe Biden. But we'll see what happens there. Now, we also have some weird news up here, and I think I talked to Bill about this a little bit. So the coronavirus is going on. Charles gives us the stats each week. Annapolis Hospital, which
close it again.
Yeah, which is part of the Beaumont system, closed. They closed the whole thing. And then on top of that, in Detroit Hospital, laid off 480 workers, including nurses. And then there's a hospital in Macomb that laid off 20 nurses as well. So it's weird what's happening right now.
But I looked into this, and I started reading some articles, and what it was explaining is there's like certain lanes that these healthcare professionals are in. And a lot of these people that you're seeing are laid off are in the elective surgery area. So in other words, there's not a lot of emergency room crossover between this. That's how I'm to understand it. I could be completely wrong, but
now, as you know, my wife is an occupational therapist at her hospital. Now, she's not qualified to do nursing stuff, but guess what they did? All of them, her and her friend that works there, they got reassigned to hand out masks, to help sanitize stuff and do things. You're telling me a nurse with training, even in general, whatever other field, couldn't come over and help? I mean, come on.
But what I would make the argument of is how much does one get paid over the other? That's probably, it came down to dollars and cents is what I would argue, is probably the bean counters probably took over in that arena is what I would say.
Yeah, I just think it's bad timing and a bad look to be doing this right now. They could have kind of gutted it out at least for a month or so before they did all this stuff. But apparently people who run these hospitals don't care.
But that's the ultimate point. At the end of the day, like, accountants and money and number crunchers run a lot of these industries. Like, I'm sure BV could go on and on about his particular industry. I'm sure that the lucrative VR Metro's got a team of accountants that are accounting on stuff.
Thousands.
And then working in the hospitality industry, I mean, it's the one department that has seen zero cuts in our hotel has been the accounting department. And trust me, a lot of the other departments have noticed it and are like, well, what the hell? But when you're the bean counters, you know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show you, like, take care of yourself, because no one's paying attention to anything but numbers that come across people's desks.
Another, Tim, I just imposed this one. I must have missed it. Does Florida open their beaches back up this week?
Dude, did you guys see this? Oh, my God. they immediately like got jammed full of people. It's on. Did you guys after the show? You guys, if BV already saw it, it sounds like, dude, go on CNN. As soon as he said it, that Rick DeSantis, the governor for Florida, said, "Hey, open the beaches," dude, it got just jammed full of people. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. I don't know. And Florida's
were they
still
social distancing?
No, like it's crazy. It's super.
It basically looks like it did early on when it was first made a big issue.
Yeah,
it's spring break. I mean, it's just people just went nuts.
It just goes to show you, because like I've had the conversation at this point multiple times, and I believe I've had it with both you guys. Trump can open up the country tomorrow. It doesn't mean I'm going to go eat dinner at Applebee's. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't happening. I got news for people. Like, open, not open, I'm going to hang back. I'm not going into that. Like, not until there's vaccines and like antibody tests and like people get more information. I'm hanging back, dude. I'm not. You could give me free tickets to Notre Dame tomorrow. I'm not going. No way.
So you're going to give us the numbers, Charles?
Yeah, so I dropped the deceased ones because it just gets too depressing. So just so the Wayne County, Detroit one. So this week we went to 13,471 cases, or 1 out of 130 people. And again, these are diagnosed cases. It was 160 last week, so you can see it just tightening up further and further about how many people actually, got this virus. And it to me, it bodes well, or it doesn't bode well, but it explains when people stop comparing it to the flu. Because I'm telling you, like, the flu numbers aren't this crazy, and it just, every week you don't see this kind of number, and, like, you just see it dwindle down more and more. I mean, we're going to get down into like the 1 out of 50 people in this county, I feel like, eventually. It's just crazy. I can see where California kind of said if they don't social distance and all this kind of stuff, like basically half the population can have it. 1 out of 2. If we get down to that point, man, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, I just figure I bring that up every week because it's just one of those eye-opening things when you start doing the numbers.
And the other news I kind of mentioned before on the podcast, so I will give him some credit now. The District 7, which is what my daughter goes to, is finally going to have courses available for their kids on April 20th, starting tomorrow morning. The teachers are going to contact all the kids and then give them some assignments to do, which my daughter may need it. I mean, but here's their mistake. They told all the kids in advance that if you've already passed, you can't fail. Only thing you can do is if you have a bad grade, you can raise your grade up. So it really kind of kills a little bit of the kids' motivation to do it's not going to affect your grade anyway, why do it at all, So
because you don't want to be a dumbass. That's what I tell my daughter all the time. Like, you don't want to do it because you don't want to be stupid. Missing 3 months of education is a problem, and you need to put the work in. And a lot of parents, meaning me, you, and everyone who's got kids, need to reiterate, like, listen, like, at the end of the day, like, don't be a dumbass and put the work in. Like, the work is going to pay for itself tenfold. And I get your point. Like, Holly's a smart kid, but Holly could be that much smarter if she does what she needs to do. You know what I mean? Like, that's my whole take on it, Do the work.
Yeah. Yeah, and, she'll do it, but it's just funny that they announced that to all the kids. Like, announcing it to the parents might have been okay, but then now that all the kids have wind of it, I just imagine a lot of them are going to be, it's like, yeah, Dad, I did it, and then just walk away,
I think it's more like a precedent, because what I get worried about is, and I think all the experts have kind of echoed this, you're going to see these kind of open and shuts happening over the next 6 months. I want Lorna trained to, just because you're closed for these 2 weeks doesn't mean you get just 2 weeks off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to set a precedent of, like, look, you're going to put the work in, school open or closed, because we're going to see these open and closed situations for the next year. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my take and our household take on it. I don't know, BV, you feel that way, or what do you think?
I think it makes sense to have your kids take advantage of whatever's available. We already have enough problems, particularly in public schools, with kids that get pushed along and they're so far below grade level that they're already not, their skills and skill sets not comparable with what they should be at the grade level they're at now. You don't want people falling behind any more than they already are. And if you give an opportunity to continue to stay either on track or get ahead, it makes sense to do so. I agree with you completely. It'll pay off a lot later on.
Yeah.
So now Wednesday, I was working from home, and I got a text from a guy who works...
How many weeks are you at home at this point, Steve? What are we up to? Let's stick a
I
dagger
don't
in
know.
Randy's side. How many weeks is this?
It was the last week of March up until now, right? So, God, that's 1,
3
2,
weeks in?
3,
4 weeks?
4. 4 weeks in. Bill's got...
Yeah,
well,
I
I'm
think-
one
yeah,
less week than Bill.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm starting week 6 tomorrow.
dang. Wow.
So I guess I'm 5 weeks starting this week. Yeah, so, yeah.
Man.
At the end of the month, I plan on going back. The lockdown's over, and so we'll see what happens there.
You don't think that's going to end up getting extended again?
I don't know. As of right now, it's not.
Going around the digital room, you think it's going to get extended, Steve? What do you think?
If it gets extended, I think it's going to be a lot less restrictive, because she's feeling the pressure from all those idiots that showed up in Lansing. And it's starting to kind of boil under on a lot of, because it's not just those idiots that showed up to protest. There's a lot of people that are starting to feel that way. So I feel it might be restricted to, Best Buy doesn't need to open and stuff like that. But I think minor jobs, I think the landscaping is going to open up. I think some of the parks are going to open back up. But I don't think she's going to fully restrict everybody.
BV, what do you think is going to happen?
I think particularly in Michigan, it should be extended. You may have heard the governors of 7 Midwest states this week decided, after Trump said that he was going to leave it to the states, they said they were going to work.
It's like a coalition kind of thing.
Yeah, on ways. It doesn't mean they'll open it at the same time, but same day that happened, the Wisconsin governor extended their stay at home until I think it was May 26th.
Wow.
So I don't know. With as many cases as you have in the Metro Detroit area, I kind of think you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what's. I mean, the Florida beaches, prime example. We start to hear people speculating that maybe we've hit a peak and we're starting to flatten the curve, and immediately, just nature of American people.
Gotta go to the beach.
Good, we're done.
Yeah,
Let's go.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna.
Yeah.
We're either going to be smart about it or we're going to live or not live to regret it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. I think it's gonna go. I don't think it's gonna be unrestricted. I think we're gonna see same type of restrictions till mid-May is what I think we're gonna see, and then we're gonna go to phase 2 restrictions to that BV window, kind of that end of the May month. You know what I mean? That's what I think you're gonna see, because Trump already laid those phases out this past week. I don't know, man. I tell you this much, man. My hotel is starting to dwindle down. Every day I go in, there's less and less rooms, baby. I'm like, just shut it down. Shut it down, and they won't do it. So I just can't wait for a shutdown, but they just won't do it. So hopefully, but I don't know. I think mid-May. BV thinks it should go till the end of May. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Heather brought up a great point. She said she read on Facebook or something. I don't know if I can give credit to whatever, but she says Americans are those bad patients who, when you get an antibiotic and they start to feel better and don't finish the prescription, they just immediately,
just tear the bandage off.
Yeah, I feel good. I'm going out. No, too late.
I gotta admit, I'm pretty guilty of that a lot of times.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good analogy. Yeah.
So this Wednesday, if you qualified and you had direct deposit for your taxes, Charles and I both got our Trump checks. The text. Bill, of course, didn't get one.
BB looking sour. I guess free money?
These were just the direct deposit ones. Now, the paper ones, Randy and our father both were waiting on the paper ones.
Okay, first of all, shame on them for getting paper refunds at this point. They deserve to wait for being that out of touch with modern technology, first of all. Second of all, I work with a chick, right? So from best I can gather here, Steve, they are using your 2018 taxes. They're not using your 19 because not everyone had filed apparently or something. So she had a kid in the 2019 year. She missed $500 on her.
Oh, that
so I'm
sucks.
I don't even know who you call. You know what I mean? What do you? You call
Just
Trump's
call
house? Can they get my extra $500? Yeah.
Send him a tweet. He'll get back to you.
Crazy. I was like, oh man, and just then a bunch of people got it in the wrong accounts and stuff like that because they use those 2018 numbers. So. Crazy stuff, man, but I like some Trump bucks, baby. Got me a new grill on the way here. I put it back in the economy. I bought me a charcoal grill.
I just paid bills. Not very exciting for me. But
Isn't there a new iPhone out?
What's that? A new iPhone? Is that what you said?
No, I said wasn't there a new iPhone that was just out recently?
Yeah, the SE.
Yeah.
Just
nice chunk of stimulus checks will go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think. So. Maybe they're all going to buy gardening supplies because that's what we're bitching about. They couldn't buy, right?
The other thing that was crazy,
$1,200 of gardening supplies.
I found out this past week you couldn't even buy flooring stuff, Steve. So, like, I needed some stuff for work. We were trying to work in an area, and my boss ran up to Depot, and the flooring section was closed. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I don't know, man. Crazy.
Well, I had to go to Walmart. I ran out of, as you can see, I am freshly shaved now. I wasn't shaved. I ran out of razors. I needed razors. I didn't know if they were essential or not, so I went and got them anyways. But all their garden stuff was out in the aisles. You could buy whatever you wanted. Nothing was restricted. Seeds, plants, all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how that rule works.
Maybe certain retailers are taking it a little more literal than the others. Maybe.
Yeah, that's probably it. So also, now that's going to end us for the Corona stuff, but we wanted to give an RIP out to one of Charles's favorite actors of all time, Brian Dennehy.
Yeah, man, Dennehy died. He
known
just kept
for
pushing.
Two big roles, the evil sheriff in the original Rambo First Blood movie, and he was also known as the father of Tommy Boy in the movie Tommy Boy. Yeah. So he died this week in his 80s, I believe. Not Corona related. The family had to come out and state that.
Yeah, it's weird. When you see people die right now, you immediately go and check, like, what's the cause? You know what I mean? Like, you immediately got to see. Here
is a weird random Cheryl Henson fact. That is one of her favorite sexy men alive was Brian Dennehy.
Look at that.
Of all the weird actors,
wow.
I was like, Brian Dennehy.
Got a vibe for the Dennehy, dude.
Yeah, well, not anymore. R.I.P. Brian. And we'll have another one in wrestling news a little later, but the first up is in memory. And also, this is the month that Joe Bartlett passed away.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about today. It's been 6 years now since he's passed away.
April 15th, 2014. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, and they say they have family lots. Bert went there, and there's Jay, and then an empty lot, and an empty spot, and then Joe, and then another empty spot. So they got like lots they pre-bought for the whole family.
That's pretty intense. Yeah, wow.
That's a real uplifting news fact for everybody.
Bartlett family plots. Jesus Christ.
Well, don't want to forget Joe. He was a great guy. To do bad what happened, but it's been about 6 years. He's still got his Facebook page out there. If people want to, say some words or something, it's still up. That's what that Facebook does. They leave the page up, and I forget what they do with it. They give it like a certain status when that person passes away. So that's kind of nice.
So you can't just take it. They don't take it down if someone deceased. That's crazy.
The family can, or you can get it. What were you gonna say, Bill?
You can set successorship for it, so that someone else takes it over if you pass away.
Huh. Wow. I don't think I knew that one. Wow.
Yeah. So like,
who are we successing? BV can success this for. You get fat guys in a little podcast, BV. If me and Steve die, you can take over.
Great.
All right. So there we go. Now we were going to have a taste test, but we couldn't find them. Charles couldn't find them. Fried green tomato chips from Lay's. We'll try those next week if Charles or Bill can find them.
I don't also struggled. BV struggled on the Terramana. They wouldn't ship state to state, which is kind of sucky. I saw that.
And I had Michelle check Myers. They didn't have it. They do have the Dan Aykroyd vodka, but they don't have the Rocks tea. Maybe, it might be one of those things we're just early, in a month or two, it'll start popping up everywhere. But we're working on the Rocks tequila, and then we're going to eat some bad chips to go with it. But probably the chips first, because those are a little easier to find. So we'll see what happens. So now we're going to go into reviews and stuff, and I don't think Bill probably watches this next show, but I know Charles and Lorna does. The season finale of Lego Masters. So let's take a look at the season and then what you thought of the finale, Charles. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Mark and Boone, and then there's the couple that's that actually ended up winning it, and then there's the weird couple that fought. The weird trendy couple that kept the
artsy people.
Yeah. So when they shouldn't have even been in the finale, the Mark and Boone guy. They really peaked. I thought they did a really good job. I also was shocked that they lost, honestly. So there's a couple, and he looks like John Mulvaney, the one.
Yeah, he does.
The one comedian and his wife, and they announced that they were having a kid. And I think that I think that they got a little bit of a push because of that. I think is what I think happened there. But I think the Mark and Boone guys got a little robbed, if I'm honest, because like especially
that last one though.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing was like creative. It's what Lego is all about. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that they really hit a nail. And I also thought it was ingenious that they put the paintbrush and then it turned the thing. But the moral of the story, we could split hairs about who you thought and all that kind of stuff. That show is great. I mean, that show deserves multiple seasons. They do things with Lego that, like, I didn't even, I have no concept of how to do and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know if you had any. The couple, like, they did some things, like Legos can turn and make these curves that I didn't know you could even do with a Lego. It's unbelievable, some of the sculptures that they do. It's great show. Great show. And I got news for you. They did a great job of picking who deserved to be there, too, because none of those other teams could build anywhere as good as those finale teams. There was nowhere close.
I would have liked to seen the artsy people, the guy with the beard and the girl, maybe swapped out for those two 25-year-old guys. They weren't as good as the two that were in the finals, but they were right behind it.
I agree.
I agree. I like the show a lot. I think the couple did do a better one. I like the Griffin, how it moved. Mark and Boone, if it wasn't a building and they'd done something a little different, because they already did a building in a previous one, so I was like, I mean, it was cool with the paintbrush thing, but at the same time, I thought maybe they should change up their idea, but whatever. I like the Star Wars episode.
Great. God, cool. And when they made the Hoth stuff and the AT-ATs that he made, oh my God, I'm just like, this is crazy. He's banging out AT-ATs like they're nothing. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it wasn't like following directions.
Yeah.
He did that from memory.
He's free-handed an AT-AT, and it looked amazing. I was like, this.
And they all did that. I mean, even Mark and Boone did ATST.
Jesus, man.
I mean, I built a model. I need to print it out directions to do a model.
And then it still takes me 4 hours of like, hold on, let me get this. Yeah. Those people were unbelievable Lego builders. I mean, those two couples.
I know you didn't care for him, but I enjoyed Will Arnett on the show too. He's
a little much sometimes.
I didn't care for the two experts. That one girl's accent was driving me crazy by the end of it.
Yeah, it sounded almost like she had an inner ear issue in a weird way.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. She was annoying.
Drives you nuts.
But that's nitpicks. I give the show an 8 out of 10.
Oh my God, all day, yeah.
Now, Michelle and I were talking. I'd like to see how they had Star Wars show up for one episode this year. Like next year, maybe pick like Harry Potter shows up for one episode. Just
they should rotate through the bigger.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. But that's ideas for next year. And
you got to admit though, the Star Wars universe had those sets that you could easily play in. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how you do a Harry Potter. I'll be honest.
Oh, you could do Hogwarts. You can do the double bus. You can do a lot of things. You could. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan.
Harry Potter sucks, and that's all. I just hate Harry Potter.
But even if it sucks, it'd be pretty cool to see a big cast and or something like that.
But part of me still wants more Star Wars. Screw Harry Potter.
Both of us a big thumbs up on Lego Masters. I give it 8 out of 10. I can't wait for next season.
I'm a little higher. I'm like a 9 because like my family, like when it would air, we would the next day be all about it and just watching it. It's a super good show. God, it's a good show.
So both big thumbs up, and then Bill's not really into Lego or that kind of thing, so we didn't watch it.
I saw parts of a couple episodes. It was interesting. I just didn't follow it.
Right.
It's amazing what these fools do with these Legos.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
What is BV? So right now, I'll be honest with you, Steve. I'm struggling. Like Netflix is kind of petering out on me. You know what I mean? Like, what is BV?
Just by what I watched this week.
Yeah. What is BV watching on a reg right now? Like, what are you peeping? What's doing BV's downtime?
Not a whole lot. I didn't even turn Netflix on this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll go on if I'm, I'll try to find like a movie or something that we're watching stuff off DVR still. There's some shows that we were like we're catching up on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but haven't really seen a whole lot of TV because every time I turn on TV now, there's really not very much to watch.
Right.
We happened today. We're flipping around. I turned on. They're running like a marathon of Peyton's Places.
Yeah, I saw that.
On ESPN, and that show's hilarious.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, that's one of those ESPN Plus shows I was pimping a while ago. Great show.
So that's what I spent first half of the day today doing.
Yeah,
but not a whole lot. I'm actually just starting to do other stuff.
Yeah, I can see from Steve as he's going to talk about a handful of the. It looks like we're back cataloging some stuff. It looks like, you know what I mean?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, to your point, Steve.
Like Bill, I was getting bored. You know, I got a mandatory 2 or 3 hours to spend with Michelle every day, so I got to fill it with something.
Wow.
Well, dinner takes up an hour, so I got 2 more after that. I don't know what to do. So we were hitting up Netflix. Now, the other day, and I didn't review it, I watched the Mark Twain Awards with Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone else saw it on there.
I did.
Neal Brennan was on there. He's the co-creator of the Dave Chappelle Show. And on the Mark Twain Awards, he was really funny. He made some good jokes and stories. So he came out with a network special of him doing stand-up called Neal Brennan 3 Mics.
It's 3 years old, not whatever. Yeah, it came out a long time. It was really? 2017. Yeah, I saw this one a long time ago.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm not alone. So I got to be honest, I didn't like it. I didn't.
He's very dry. He's very dry.
I thought he was really funny on the Chappelle award show, and then on this, I was like, ugh. So one microphone he tells one-liners, another microphone he tells the stand-up, and in the middle microphone he just tells stories of his life.
Yeah.
And I applaud him for trying something different, but I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. It was one of the worst stand-ups I've seen in a while, and I would only give it about a 5. To be honest with you. I was not digging it.
In the world of stand-up, there are some like rear echelon kind of people. In other words, people that can craft sitcoms, people that are good, better pen to paper kind of guys. And I think that Neal Brennan, to your point, is kind of in that category where it's like he's a comedic dude in a room. You know what I mean? He's probably a great staff writer on a late night show, or you know what I mean, like a Chappelle show or something like that. But like to step out in front, you know what I mean? I can see the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's that backup singer that doesn't live up to the.
Yeah. BV,
and Bill, you saw this. Yeah. What'd you think?
It was. Yeah, I had kind of high hopes for it when I first watched it because this is the guy from Chappelle show. It was pretty disappointing. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything memorable.
Yeah, it was nothing memorable.
He did seem to spend a lot of time talking about him, how he compares to black guys, which I think maybe he was trying to get trying to look back to the Chappelle show experience maybe a little bit too much, but
yeah.
It's pretty average from what I recall.
Now, yeah, and I agree with you. And it just, I mean, I'm not going to knock. He wasn't like the worst stand-up I've ever seen, but it wasn't something I want to watch. Like if he came out with another special, I don't want to sign up. I don't want to watch that. So now this other guy I've always missed. I've seen him in podcasts. I've seen him with Bert Kreischer, Sebastian
Maniscalco is
Maniscalco. Stay Hungry. Now he was definitely better than Neal Brennan, but he's not. He's not Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura to me. He's a step below them.
I think his disdain for people and stuff. I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I find he's right up there with Bert Kreischer for me as far as just anything he does. He's just the way that his way of like looking at everyone and just being offended by what everyone does is just classic to me. I just find he tickles a whole part of me that I completely agree with him on way too much stuff and stuff like that. Like I find him just hilarious. I can't say enough high praise about him. He does some crazy shows. He does like arena tours and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, the one I saw was a big crowd. The bit with being on the treadmill. And there's 8 open ones, and a dude gets that was funny. I agree
so
with him.
Good yeah. That's his whole shtick. It's just like, why would you do that? Why? You know what I mean? It's kind of like old man comedy, but like in a younger tone, kind of like how I lean. Yeah. I love him, dude. BV, I know you're a big fan of him too.
His hair looked pretty great.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, 3 funniest guys our stand-up comedians on Netflix: Chappelle, Kreischer, and Maniscalco.
Yeah. I'm with me
and I'd say Maniscalco and Kreischer are pretty close.
Yeah,
to each other.
He touched it, like I said, his form of comedy is so goddamn funny. When he's talking about that grandma stirring that meatballs with her bare hand. Dude, it's so he's walking through the house and stumbling into food and stuff. Dude, that show's hilarious, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm about to watch some more of his.
Dude, I can't get enough of that guy.
Yeah.
I'm a BV.
I mean, I liked what I saw. I just didn't.
Yeah,
I like Bert
he's
Kreischer
huge
a
to
little better.
me. I'm totally with BV on this one. He's huge to me. I think Tom Segura is great. Like, he's easily my top 5. And now I didn't put it on the list because we talked about it last week, and I reiterated kind of me and BV's thought we have a very similar taste in stand-ups. I watched a little bit of that Chris D'Elia stand-up that just came out, and
Is that any good?
I didn't like it. I got like 5 minutes in and was like, okay, yeah, it's just solidifying kind of how I feel, and I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't.
Funny you say that.
Yeah.
I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast with him on it, and I just kind of like,
Yeah, I don't like his form of comedy, man. It's not Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, of course, but Tom Segura's right up there too. I'm with you, Steve. I think he's hilarious, but Chris D'Elia doesn't do it for me. You know what I mean? I don't know. But the Sebastian Maniscalco, God, he is so funny, man. He hurts my side. Funny. I love that dude. Great comedy.
I don't know if you two are running into this, though. I've watched so much stand-up in these 4 weeks. I'm getting a little burnt out on stand-up.
Are you? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dude. I got to tell you what I'm burnt out of is board games, son. Oh, my God. I played so many board games. Dude, when you got an 8-year-old BV, you got to, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm breaking out everything.
Where's that Switch of yours? Go grab that Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, but then the Switch, I've noticed Lorna's in that tweeny age where it's kind of tough. You know what I mean? Like, the Switch can, if I'm sitting down, it's okay. But like the games that we play, I'm not gonna play without her. You know what I mean? But like some of them can still be kind of challenging. You know what I mean? Those fine motor skills aren't exactly there yet.
What I ran in with Holly when she was about Lorna's age is, she liked video games, but only if someone's playing with her.
Yeah.
She's not like us where we can sit by ourselves and play before.
Yeah.
Was not gonna happen with the girls.
Yeah.
So now this next one is funny that you watch this because Michelle was asking about this. We're both big fans of the Impractical Jokers.
Great
How
show.
is the movie?
So I watched this. I picked this up on iTunes on demand because, as we've talked about in the past, I think that's the future of movies. I know me and Steve differ on this, but nonetheless, they released it for rent kind of early for $5. We checked it out. Like I said, me, Heather, and Lorna are huge fans of the show. This is not very good. I'll be honest with you.
Bummer.
Because they gave it a loose premise. So basically they show them in the early 90s as friends, and then they have an incident with Paula Abdul, and then Paula Abdul invites them to go to their concert in Miami, and they road trip down doing stunts or doing the show on their way down to Miami is the whole loose premise of it. It just felt like a long episode, and it just wasn't very good. I'll be honest with you. I love the show. I think that this would have been a fine episode of the show. But, man, if I went to the movie theater and paid for this, I would be pissed because it just felt like, it's a 5 out of 10 all day. You know what I mean? It just didn't do
man.
It's kind of awkward acting when they try to, tie the loose premises together, too. It's not good. I would say just wait until HBO or wait until True TV actually airs this on. But don't put the money into it, even at a.
Is it like the old Jackass movies where it's just essentially the show for an hour and a half?
It's exactly. But you know how the Jackass movies didn't try to have a common thread? Like a Jackass movie literally just showed you an hour and a half of Jackass. Yeah. This one was like an hour of Impractical Jokers and then 30 minutes of a weird, lame, loose premise. It was kind of, it was all sorts of wrong. You know what I mean? It just, yeah. I could recommend as a Jackass fan, a Jackass movie. I can't recommend paying any money to see this. This is one of the things I would say, it's completely serviceable if it's on Comedy Central randomly a few months from now or on True TV a few months from now. You'd turn it on and be completely entertained. But if you're asking someone to outlay money for it, I can't recommend you do that, is what I would say. So that's kind of my whole take on it. Yeah, if you like Impractical Jokers, it's more Impractical Jokers. But
with a bad half hour of acting.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Me and Heather both were just like, ugh.
Bill, do you like Impractical Jokers?
I've never actually seen a full episode of the show.
Oh, it's great.
I've seen little excerpts and it's funny, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen the whole show.
That's a good quarantine show if you got True TV to throw on while you're sitting at the computer or something, BB. It'll tickle you, man. Joe Gatto is one of the most out cold dudes on the planet. He's hilarious.
There is always a marathon of that show on. I don't think there's anything else on True TV.
But you got to admit, that show's great, Steve. I know you and Michelle love it. Yeah, funny show.
Yeah, I watch new episodes when it comes up.
Yeah.
Even though they're doing some weird thing with Joey Fatone at the end where they recap stuff, and I don't know what that is. I just turn that off.
Like the after show, you're like, click.
Yeah. It's like Talking Dead, but for the Impractical Jokers. Yeah. Now, this next one I watched back in the fall, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest movie ever, but it gave you the warm feels. So, Charles, you saw Peanut Butter Falcon. What did you think?
So, first of all, I rented it for $1 on iTunes. So I was like, all right, word, I'll give you $1 for anything right now. Sure. You know what I mean? And I knew you had liked it. I'll be honest with you, Steve. I am shocked that you liked this movie. Because, this is so anti-Steve movie. It's not even funny.
Wow.
Oh, my God. If you had sat me down and said, Steve's going to enjoy this, I'm like, I don't think so. Because I loved it. I thought it was a solid 8. It's great. They got some good wrestling ties. I know you recognize the Mick Foleys and the Jake the Snakes in it and stuff like that. It was super, like you said, very heartwarming and all this kind of stuff. Great movie. The thing you realize as you watch it, right? Shia LaBeouf, man, if he could get his shit together, would be a really good actor. You know what I mean? Like, put the bottle down, you drunk asshole, and you could make a huge career. It's like, dude, it's unbelievable. It's like, dude, you're really squandering some real talent here. It's like, I loved it. Heather loved it. And again, I just wanted to go on record as saying, if you got $1, man, go and check this out and be shocked that Steve enjoyed it, because it is so anti-Steve. It's not funny.
Am I getting too soft in my old age? Is that
what
you're telling me?
I don't know what you were doing that day. You're right. It's a great movie, but wow, Steve. There was no armies in it. There was no.
I told you, I'm changing.
Yeah,
I'm changing
they had weird, weepy, South Carolina bluegrass music. I'm like, oh my God, man, this is not Steve at all. Yeah.
So every time Shia LaBeouf used to get jobs and stuff back in the day, I always wonder who keeps hiring this asshole. This guy, and now this movie is now you see what they saw in him.
He's a good actor. He really is, man. He's got issues though. He needs some. It's funny to see in the true light. You know what I mean? Like someone who's struggling with personal issues that's really impacting his professional career. Because here's a guy with all the talent in the world, and you're like, he's got issues, man. It's crazy.
Charlie Sheen in his own career.
Yeah. You get out of your own way. You know what I mean? Like you could be something. You know, crazy.
Now,
good movie.
Also in that vein of that Peanut Butter Falcon feel-good, heartwarming thing, I don't know if you caught the text. On YouTube, John Krasinski has a little show each week called Some Good News.
Yeah, it's great.
It's kind of on the same vein, you know. It's a good show too. It tugs on the heartstrings. Yeah. So I'm not all superheroes and armies. You watch some stuff.
Dude, he did Prom this week. Yeah, it was pretty good. I like that. It's on YouTube. It's a great Some Good News with John Krasinski.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too. All right, now lastly, of course, we're not going to go a week without Steve seeing something animated, and this is what happened here.
Get ready, BB. You sign up for this every week, BB. BB's can't wait for us to get back in studio so we stop bothering him.
So Michelle had some gift cards on our iTunes. And as everyone knows, I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, and I'm a big animation fan. And they put the two together, and it was an hour-and-a-half long movie about Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. It's essentially you remember
BB's so on the edge of his seat.
You remember the first Mortal Kombat movie that was in theaters, Charles, right?
Yes, I totally do. I have the soundtrack still.
Yeah, it's like an animated version of that, but it's told through Scorpion's point of view.
Okay.
That's and it's super violent, a lot of blood. They even have in the game. There's these moves called X-ray moves where you punch them and you see the bones breaking under. They do that in the movie and stuff. So if you're a big fan of Mortal Kombat and if you're a big fan of animation, it has
you're checking so many boxes for BB right now.
I don't know about BB.
Yeah, BB's gonna hang up and go watch this movie right now. Steve's animation corner. We're gonna start putting Steve's animation corner in every week.
Listen, I got a whole lot of animation I can talk about.
He just needs it every week. He's got to talk about it.
I gotta have some kind of.
Usually, it's
cartoon.
A bad Superman, straight to Blu-ray movie or something.
Well, now we got Mortal Kombat straight to Blu-ray, so man, they're expanding my universe.
Yeah,
now if I get Street Fighter to start coming out, but I liked it a lot.
Hold on, before you get into off the review and before you get into your totals here, is it, as I'm breaking your balls, is it a CG animation? Is it a drawn animation?
Traditional 2D.
Oh wow, kicking it old school.
Yeah. The animation's the art's a little not as good as it probably should be, so it's a little step below the DC animated ones. But I mean, the story, the violence, it's everything you want in Mortal Kombat.
BV might be out now. He really is a stickler for like high end animation. BV.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. He only likes CGI and 3D animation. So a big 8 out of 10. I hope they make more of these. So then I'll have DC movies and Mortal Kombat movies. Steve will be in heaven. I don't know what to tell you.
Check in with us every week, folks, for Steve's Animation Corner.
Yeah.
I will have Batman Beyond coming up here, so don't. I have animation loaded up for days, just so you know. So that was it. Lego Masters. Both Charles and I agree. Great show. Hope to see a lot of seasons. Neal Brennan, 3 mics. I thought was new, but 3 years old. I didn't care for it. Sebastian Maniscalco. I have struggled with his name. Stay hungry.
I love when Steve can't pronounce something too. That's the best part.
It happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's a good show. He's a funny guy. I don't like him as much as Bert Kreischer, but Bill and Charles do. Impractical Jokers the Movie. Charles says a hot flaming turd. Yeah. Unfortunately, Peanut Butter Falcon. Charles finally sees it and did not understand why I liked it, but he loved it too. And Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. Great animation. Animated movie.
Dude, Steve is at 4 pen strokes out of 5.
Yes, that's right.
Maybe I am on Team Bergeron about the markers and stuff.
I'll stay for myself.
Maybe Bergeron's onto something. I'm just saying.
Maybe I can talk about sports. Oh wait, there is no sports.
I was gonna say, dude, I'm watching snails go down my driveway right now. Which one you got?
So now, 2 weeks ago, Bill and I both said we're done with wrestling. And for the record, I haven't watched any wrestling. But there's been a lot of wrestling news outside of the ring, and that's what we want to talk about today. And Bill, tell the world what WWE is in Florida.
It has been ruled an essential business in the state of Florida.
That's crazy. So that DeSantis guy's out of his mind. I mean, Florida's crazy. There's no other way to describe it.
Toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and wrestling. Don't you understand? That's how it goes.
So crazy, dude. Nothing says, you know what I need right now? 2 grown men sweaty and flipping around to choreograph. What are you doing? Crazy.
Well, and it could be women too.
Don't want to discriminate. Jeez, it's crazy.
Whose palms got greased for that one?
Well, funny you mention that because Linda McMahon has a super PAC. That these combined funds that are used for political causes, and they committed $18.5 million to Florida.
Wow!
Right about the same time that this announcement took place.
Oh wow! They just straight up paid to play that. Wow!
Yeah, actually, same day. She has a super PAC called America First PAC. So it's basically to help reelect Trump. She was once on his staff. So same day they committed $18.5 million to Florida, and it's ruled an essential service.
That's nuts.
Grocery stores, hospitals, banks.
WWE.
That's right.
I can't buy fertilizer, but WWE can wrestle.
Can't live without it.
That's
gloves.
If you can go respike the entire freaking pandemic by going to the beach, I guess you might as well be able to see, live wrestling shows with nobody in the building.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Nonetheless, this has just got classic dirt written all over it.
We all kind of knew Florida was crazy, though, right?
Yeah, they really are solidifying that, though. They said, "I see you're crazy, and I raise you too." But this is the kind of stuff that Bernie's freaking out about. You know what I mean? Like that's dirty.
Yeah. And it's like they saw the Michigan protest, like, oh no, my friend, we're gonna outdo you guys. We'll legalize wrestling and invade the beaches.
That's nuts.
So now also, that's good news for McMahon and the WWE. Now there was also some bad news this week for the WWE, and as we know, the XFL. Now the XFL has officially filed bankruptcy, and they are done and will not be back. Does anyone feel sorry?
Now you put it as finite here, but I read an article just before the show that said that they're also up for sale. So if someone wants to take it on, they're willing to. As Daisy comes into the room, they're willing. Maybe she'll bark at you. They said that if someone's willing to take it on, you know what I mean, they're willing to sell the product to someone who will give it another chance and stuff like that. So, I mean, is anyone shocked by this news? I thought it was kind of doing pretty decent. The official podcast dog Daisy just showed up. I thought they were doing a good product and stuff like that, or a decent product, but no one saw this coming. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I liked it actually. Bill, what do you think?
Well, I thought it was certainly better than that. Was that Association of American Football the year before that, and it was looking better. But apparently, also along the lines of the recent McMahon controversies, apparently it's kind of damaged Vince's reputation. He was earmarked to make a $300 million investment in the league, hasn't done it yet, and so the bankruptcy filing basically sticks a lot of other people. Some of the creditors are the coaches that bought in. Like Bob Stoops over $1 million, and $750,000 of Mark Trestman and some others, and it's something like over 1,000 creditors. Somewhere between $10 and $50 million in liabilities.
That's why I don't think anyone's gonna buy it because of all the money that he owes.
Well, no. What'll end up happening is it'll go through its bank. They'll go through the Chapter 11. Someone will step in and buy it. After everything gets discharged, and they might buy it for pennies on the dollar. The thing is who's going to invest money into a football league right now with the economy the way it is? You'd have to have someone with you'd basically have to have some kind of private billionaire that wants, or a consortium of really rich people that are interested in just trying to take a shot at something that McMahon could never pull off. I don't think we'll be seeing any sort of secondary leagues coming out anytime in the near future.
That's too bad.
I thought maybe see a proper league in the near future, let alone a secondary league.
Good point. Yeah.
I thought if they had 4 or 5 years, maybe they'd had something, but nope. You got 6 games, and that was it. It was definitely better than.
It was a decent product. I think that, and just like the last time the XFL came out, I think that they did some ingenious things. The kickoff rules and stuff like that. I don't think you've seen the end of what they're going to adopt. You know what I mean? I'm still steadfast to that. Like they thought about some things and executed some things outside the box that I think could make it to the big league.
Well, and because of it, some players did get put in the NFL, so that's nice. Some of the quarterbacks, a couple of the other players. So at least it benefited somebody having it. Yeah. So now other news in WWE is they're finally here feeling the crunch financially. And how many did they let go, Bill? 15 wrestlers?
Even more. They've been then they started releasing NXT wrestlers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's well over 20 at this point, but yeah, quite a bit.
And they also stopped production. They were building a new headquarters outside of Connecticut. They were building that, and they stopped doing that.
Were they going to put a Hall of Fame in it? That's the real question.
I don't know. They should. Well, now they stopped building on it, so you're not even going to get the Hall of Fame. The top ones that got cut that most people are going to know is Kurt Angle. He wasn't wrestling, but he was a behind-the-scenes producer guy. Rusev is the big Russian guy. They made him out to be.
Yeah, you guys are pretty positive on him.
And the other one, the OC, they were a tag team that's with AJ Styles all the time.
Okay.
They got cut. And then Bill's favorite wrestler of all time, EC3, also got cut. It's one of those ones where you pick a wrestler and think, oh, he might be something someday, and it just never happens.
Never happened.
Yeah. So a lot, and they have nowhere to go right now. AEW is not really going to take any of them in right now because they don't have the money, and none of the little wrestling leagues are running right now. So it's going to be a while before any of them see some money.
That's tough. I tell you, that's the whole independent contractor thing. You know what I mean? Like it's tough. Yeah.
Now, the other one, we did talk about Brian Dennehy. Now, the other famous person that passed away this week.
We just equated Brian Dennehy to the Fink.
The Fink might be more famous than Brian Dennehy. I'm just telling you right now. Howard Finkel, anyone that follows wrestling, he is, especially in the 80s and early 90s, he was the ring announcer and he was a big guy. main announcer
before the buffers. There was the Fink.
Stuff. Yeah. He passed away. I don't know of what though. It wasn't coronavirus, but he did die this week, along with Brian Dennehy. Any thoughts on that, Bill?
I think he had been fighting health issues for quite a while, so some kind of a cancer or something to that effect. But.
I'd say this much: I saw a lot of the articles, a lot of very well thought of amongst the members of the league and stuff like that. Like a lot of people or the federation, rather, or whatever you want to call it at this point. But like people loved him. You know what I mean? Like no one's saying a bad word about the guy from all the way from top management all the way through talent and stuff like that. So he must have been a pretty straight, narrow, pretty good dude. You know what I mean?
He was apparently the first WWF employee.
Wow.
And look at that! What a life, though. I mean, besides the travel, all you did was announce stuff in front of the match and collect a check. You know, that's not a bad gig, to be honest with you. That's probably right up there with hosting The Price is Right.
Yeah, touche.
I can't really find what he died of, but
Art Finkel. Yeah, I see the parallel.
He was. Pretty close.
Alex Trebek, you know, right there.
69 years old when he passed away. I can't find what he died from, but he had health problems. But so Howard Finkel now gone, which is a bummer, because they don't have their announcers now are terrible. I mean, they had Lillian Garcia for a while, but they don't even have her anymore.
I don't know. It's a female now who brings him down.
Not anymore. She's gone. So it's another female, JoJo or something. The one that's dating Bray Wyatt.
JoJo Siwa, that's her name. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Got the bows in her hair. So, and then finally today, I missed it this week, but Charles saw it. So tell us what happened on Dark Side of the Ring.
So BV and Dave have got me full all in on Dark Side of the Ring. They're right. I was wronged for not watching this the first season and stuff like that. I went back and I've watched the Brawl for All episode, and then now this past week they had the Jimmy Superfly Snuka episode where apparently he had a girlfriend outside of his marriage that he just whacked back in the day. And then later on in life, much, much later in life, he actually goes up on charges for it. BV, did you check out the episode?
Yeah.
I thought it was really. I didn't know all this, because Jimmy Superfly Snuka was very well thought of, but man alive, and again, I'm sure you two guys, as two wrestling insiders, are like, yeah, I kind of know this, Charles. Like, I don't know where you've been, but for me, I was like, dang, this is pretty nutty. So, super compelling show. The one thing I'll tell you that's weird is with the Dark Side of the Ring is tonally, it's very odd. So we went from the 2-part Chris Benoit episode that I had my issues with that you guys both liked, and like I said, I think my issues are valid, but whatever, into the Brawl for All episode where it's like basically like guys fought for real and they were pissed because people got hurt. So one guy whacked his whole family, hopped up on steroids, into like Jim Cornette's pissed that they actually got hurt. It was so weird. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you equate the episodes. It just didn't seem to have the same impact for me, but I thought the Superfly Snuka stuff was great.
They should have saved Benoit to the end of the season.
Yeah, that should have been a finale or something. You should have built to that, not premiered that, I think. But did you guys know all this Superfly stuff? I mean, what's going around the digital room here?
I knew about it, but I didn't know the details. I knew like Carol Baskin, he killed his girlfriend. I don't know.
It was a story back. It was 2014 or something when they charged him, and then they ruled that he wasn't fit to stand trial, and they had referenced that he had allegedly killed a girlfriend back in the 80s, but it certainly wasn't anything that was a story back in the 80s, so I didn't know anything else either.
Yeah, a lot of like cover-up stuff. I didn't realize that Allentown, Pennsylvania was such a big deal in the wrestling in that 80s time frame and all that stuff. So that Dark Side of the Ring show is great. You guys are 100% right. Like, if even from someone who's periphery into wrestling still at this point, that show is fantastic.
Did you go back and watch the New Jack episode?
No, it hasn't shown up yet on my DVR. I caught, like I said, the Brawl for All episode. Which...
You can even the full episodes are on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You want to talk about just pure? There was a transition. It didn't just suddenly go from the Benoit thing down to Brawl for All. There was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
crazy,
crazy one in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Brawl for All episode was pretty lame, though. I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought the Brawl for All episode was pretty lame. I was like, okay, so Bart Gunn really beat people up. Who cares? Like, Jim Cornette's losing his mind. He's just completely screaming into the camera. I'm like, would you calm down, Cornette, you dickhead?
Cornette has a whole new life online as a podcaster now.
Okay.
And like they always put a mic in front of him whatever happens in wrestling, and that's what he does. He screams and overreacts on everything.
He was so over the top about this. Like, they're really getting hurt, you son of a bitch. Ah! I was like, oh wow.
Oh yeah, he's burned bridges with like 3/4 of the wrestling world too. Like there's a small group that likes him, and then he's got enemies like crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, great show. Big thumbs up for Dark Side of the Ring. BV, Dave, 100% right. But that Superfly episode was pretty compelling, too. I just don't recommend the Brawl for All episode.
Yeah. Next week is going to be Dino Bravo.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole cigarette thing with that guy.
A whole cigarette thing? I don't know this story either.
He was trafficking illegal cigarettes out of Canada, I guess, for like the Canadian Mafia or something. They had him whacked.
That sounds pretty good. Okay.
He took something like 15, 20 shots.
Yeah, they whacked him.
That sounds pretty neat. Okay, I'm in. Yeah, that show's good, man.
I don't realize how much damn wrestling knowledge I have. This is too much.
Yeah, because you guys so much bury me in it. I just don't know any of this stuff. And you guys look at me like, how do you not know this, Charles? I'm like, I don't know.
Dino Bravo, also the guy that accidentally broke Bret Hart's sternum years ago.
Yeah. See, like, we should know these things, right? We just shouldn't know.
Yeah, we really should have, I don't know, lives.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Watching goddamn YouTube.
At least we're not watching new wrestling episodes right now. So that's
we got that. But you got to think about it. It's like 30 years of wrestling knowledge going to be wasted because we're just giving up on wrestling. So anyways. So there you go. WWE is an essential business in Florida. XFL is bankrupt and owes a lot of money to a lot of people. WWE also released quite a few wrestlers: Angle, Rusev, the OC, and EC3. RIP to Howard Finkel, the Hall of Fame ring announcer. And then Charles saw Dark Side of the Moon and Jimmy Superfly snuck in. How he killed his girlfriend.
Dark Side of the Ring, Steve. Dark Side of the Ring.
You see Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah.
You have like Pink Floyd Freudian slip there or something?
But I don't think he fed his girlfriend to a tiger, so we're all right on that. So now we got a couple of reviews. Now, in all honesty, I did review the Call of Duty Modern Warfare campaign. If you remember, back when it came out a couple months ago, I rented it on Xbox, ran through the campaign, and I enjoyed it. Now, Gabe, like I told you guys last week, was getting a copy of this. Tyler has it, so I was like, well, I'll play online with these guys. And I got it on sale for, I think, $28, so that's not too bad. And I've been running through all the different online modes now. And I did put up a video on our YouTube channel of some of the campaign. I realized my mic was really low, though, so you could barely hear me talk. So I am talking, but it's like a low mumble.
Technical issues that we always have.
Of course. That's the first time that's happened on that one. But you can see how it looks. It's a beautiful-looking game. Again, it was released back in 2010 or 11. This is a whole remastered campaign, basically digitally, and they redid it all. But all the multiplayer stuff is all brand new. Like, now they released the big thing that's on there, and this is what Gabe and Tyler and his friend Eric and I were playing all Saturday night till about 1 a.m. It's called Warzone. And is anyone here familiar with Fortnite besides me?
I know of it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So in Fortnite, you start with 100 people on a big
shrinks, right?
And then every couple of minutes it shrinks. Yeah. And then you just keep going until there's one person left and that one person wins. Basically, Warzone's pretty close to that. But the difference is you can have teams of 3, teams of 2, or teams of 4. So, like, the 4 of us got to survive.
That's cool.
So
it sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
It also forces the action by shrinking the map. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what it does. Yeah. And the map's huge when you first start. It's really big. And it doesn't have, like, Fortnite has that, like, building mechanic in it where you can make things. This doesn't have that. This sticks to the more realistic military stuff. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
How many different maps they got for that mode?
Well, it's one giant map, but then it's got, like,
It'll section
12
off.
maps. There's 12 maps inside it.
Okay.
Like you probably remember the Boneyard, don't you? That old air. It was a junkyard with all the airplanes. Yeah, that's in it. There's a prison level. There's a hospital, and each building on this map, you can go inside every building.
That's cool.
So you can camp out on roofs trying to kill people, and people might show up with helicopters, blow you off the roof.
Is that the most popular mode that most people are playing right now?
It seems it. Yeah, it does seem. But it still has the Spec Ops. That's that co-op multiplayer.
Yeah, that's fun too. Yeah.
You and I have played that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It still has the traditional multiplayer with the, deathmatch, capture the flag, that stuff. They have that too, but Warzone's the newest one. And so we started off. It was me, Gabe, and Tyler, and we were finishing in like the 40s out of 100. We were like, but then by the end of the night, we finished 7th. We finished one game with
single
7.
digits, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, we're like, win one for the old guys.
How? Speaking of which, I don't want to derail your conversation about Call of Duty, but how is Tyler feeling? You get to talk to him at all? How's he feeling?
Yeah, his whole family—they're doing good now. They've been recouping. He's still got quarantine for 4 more days, and then he's done. But he said physically he feels fine now. He's not. He's pretty much over it. So they've gotten over it. So that's good. But yeah, we're all playing and just going back and forth, and it's a lot of fun. You wonder how these kids get sucked into it, and then it's so much fun with your friends.
Yeah.
Multiplayer by yourself.
Yeah, you need
just blows so bad by yourself. But
and we're not good with making friends anyway, even if you were like trying to solo and like, oh, let me hook up with these guys. Like, nah, I'm good.
So like on a weekend with Gabe and Tyler, I'd be more than happy to play. But to just sit there during the week by myself, I don't know. I have to be really desperate, I guess. Yeah. Now there's tons of stuff you can buy too. Different guns, different outfits, different all this stuff. You pay $10 here, They got coins in game currency, and you can unlock some, but most of it's like they call it battle packs, and they broke them into seasons, and you unlock them, and you get different masks and stuff like that. But it was a lot of fun, and it reminded me of the time. Remember when we used to play Halo with Brandon and his brother? Yeah. And we'd sit there for hours playing.
Fun times, yeah. If you can get a group together, it's a blast. There's no game on the planet that if you can get 3-4 friends together, it's fun. I openly admit it's like weird digital paintball or something like that. It's just so much fun. Yeah,
it really is. We played basically from 8 p.m. to about 1 in the morning, and I was like, I'm done. I can't take no more. I was starting to fall asleep at the desk. I was like, I gotta go. The other thing is kind of cool is if you die in the world, you have a chance to get back in. They call it the gulag. They throw you in this prison against one other guy. They hand both of you guys a handgun. Whoever wins gets to go back in the match.
That sounds really ingenious. Yeah, it's really cool.
Dad just sent me a text that says "Liberate Michigan." I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Even if you're not huge into multiplayer, it's got a lot of modes. So I think the game's kind of worth it. It's one of the better Call of Duties in a while. So a big thumbs up for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And if you have friends to play with online, it makes it even more fun. Even if you kind of suck, it's still cool because the Warzone fact, you can go hide. You can literally just go hide in the house and wait. You'll finish top 20 just by hiding. So a lot of fun. So and that's all I have for that. And the last thing I do have is I told you during the week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Once you install, each multiplayer mode is a different install, and each one's like 15 gig. It's like 100 gigabytes by the time you're done installing all this stuff. Dude. It's the biggest game I've ever installed. It took forever.
Going forward with those SSD drives, they're talking about in the next generation of consoles. Like storage capacity is a legitimate issue. I don't know how they're going to handle that. Like these game installs are getting out of control, dude.
And Bill, do you have any desire to shoot people in the face online, or is it just not your thing?
It would be fun, but I am horrible at. And is this a first person?
Yeah.
I'm horrible at first person shooters. So I never had the patience to get good enough at them to be worth playing with anybody.
Full disclosure, none of us are really that good. We average like 3 or 4 kills every round. That was about it. Sometimes you get none, but none of us were like smoking anybody. And so you'd fit right in with us, Bill. We all sucked. But we did finish 7th. I went and told Holly too. I was like, screw your friend. We finished 7th that one time. So anyways, Charles, you're spending your Trump money and you're getting a grill?
So, I'm getting a new grill. I'm getting a Performer charcoal grill. But what I did buy this past week is it's called a Weber Home Connect. It's called a Connect Smart Grilling Hub. Okay? So what it does is it comes with 2 sensors. And these are one's a meat probe, and the other one is an ambient temperature sensor for your smoker. So it's really cool that this device would not only is it like how the traditional iGrill stuff works, where it does the Bluetooth, but this one allows you to hook to your Wi-Fi. So what that means is in my garage, as I talked to you guys about, I have the new router in my garage. I'm able to hook this thing up and then monitor my smoker's ambient temperature plus the meat I have on it. It's a really cool device. It also supports, if you see on there, there's 4 ports that are on it. It can do up to 4 different devices. Within the app, you can set up all different thresholds too. So what's nice about that is you could be told if your smoker's getting too cold or too hot. You can also set meat thresholds too. So what the meat thresholds will basically tell you is if something's running too hot or you're trying to hit a target temperature or something like that. It's great. Now, with all that being said, this all sounds fantastic, and I read a lot of reviews about it, and a lot of the reviews said connectivity issues were a problem.
Yeah, I'm looking at the reviews on the website. It's like 2 stars.
Okay, so and initially, again, I've got a crazy house here. I've got smart everything. And if you were to look at most of the reviews on a lot of this smart tech, most of them complain about connectivity issues. And I've had really no issues with this stuff until this boy. Holy shit, Steve. That app is enough to drive you. Right? Oh, my God, Steve. I spent an hour trying to get this beast online. Holy shit. Like, it wouldn't Bluetooth pair to my phone initially. And, again, we've chronicled on this show. I don't have a high-end Android phone. Steve doesn't either. We've got the LG Note 4s or whatever. But I've had pretty decent luck. Stylos. I'm sorry. Yeah, not Notes. But this thing is hot garbage to get to connect. So once I could get it to connect Bluetooth, to do the Wi-Fi was a holy, because so the Bluetooth didn't do me any good. I wanted the Wi-Fi so I could be in my house and know what my smoker was doing out there. Steve, holy shit, man, those reviews are so right. I got it, but dude, you know how I'm a crazy person and I'll keep working on something for like way too long. I can see why most people tap out, because it was one of the most difficult things to ever set up I've ever had to deal with in my life. Holy shit, to get this thing to like not only log on to my Wi-Fi but then stay connected to it. I had to like change to WPA passwords and shit on my router. I had to do like advanced shit to get this thing to work. I eventually got it. It's super reliable now, but man, those reviews are completely correct on this device. It wasn't ready for prime time. The other thing that kind of frustrated me with it is there's no sensitivity adjustment. What that means is if you put this into a pork butt or something like that and you're trying to hit 135, 145 degrees or something, the thermometer is so sensitive, it's bouncing like crazy. And I can't find a way to like slow that down so that, in other words, it's almost too accurate, if that makes sense, Steve. Like it's reporting the temperature of your meat like constantly. And it's like weirdly like flickering at you. You know what I mean? Like up 2 degrees, down 2 degrees. It's like they need to slow that down or like adjust the sensitivity so that it's not as apparently bouncing and stuff like that. But once I got it on, I kind of am starting to understand the quirks. But can I recommend it? I'm going to say no. Like, because the average person would go mental trying to hook this thing up.
Now, how many hours do you have in on the setup?
I easily hour and a half to get it all set up and stable where it would work right. Now, the cool part is it's all battery. So it USB charges. You'll see a USB port on the back of it. It USB charges. It sticks to my smoker. It's all magnetic on the bottom. It's got great design things, but like they need to go back to their IT department and be like, dude, you guys are making a hot mess of connections here. I don't know. It's not good. And now this same tech that's in this is in the new Weber pellet smokers, and good luck and Godspeed to whoever's got to work on those, because if you got it in a pellet smoker, you're going to have the same issues. They got the same tech basically baked into that. Oh, my God, it was a nightmare. I got it.
So,
Jesus.
Scale of 1 to 10, what did you give it?
As far as as far as it doing what I need it to do, it does. But that setup process and everything, I can't recommend. I give it like a 4. You know what I mean? Like, it's that low because if BV came to me and he's like, hey, I need to be able to monitor my grill, I'd tell him, like, dude, no, like, you know what I'm saying? Because BV would be out there like, dude, I did like deep dive into my router and everything. Like, it was advanced. At one point, I had an iPad, an iPhone, and an Android phone outside trying to see which one could hook to it. Stuff, dude, it was a nightmare, no doubt about it. Like for once, the reviews are 100% right. So, and like I said, I wouldn't recommend it.
It's amazing you never gave up on it.
Yeah, well, you know how I get. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, when I need it to be Wi-Fi, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I could be in my house. Bluetooth's not going to reach to my detached garage where my grill is to in my house. It has to be Wi-Fi. And the problem is there's a huge jump. When you start talking about Wi-Fi thermometers, the good ones are really expensive. And with this one being the Weber name, I was like, okay, I love Weber products. And the reviews, you know, like I said, if you look up most of my smart home stuff, a lot of people are like, dude, it sucks to connect. And I haven't had too much issue. The reviews are right, Steve. It is brutal. Brutal stuff. So, but anyway, that's the Weber Connect Smart Grilling Hub. So,
now, if it was like $40, would you recommend it more?
No, I really wouldn't, because the average person couldn't get it going. I would question if I handed this, and this is no slight against BV, but I'm saying if I handed BV a brand new one of these, I question whether or not he could get it going. I really do. And it's not a slight against his ability to know tech. It's purely like the average person doesn't know how to go in and change like WPA, WEP on their, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like next level type shit I was working with, doing the Bluetooth tie, dude, it was crazy, Steve. I just don't, I can't recommend it. I really cannot.
All right. So big thumbs up to Call of Duty, big thumbs down to Weber Connect Smart Grill Hub. So if you want to know the temperature of your smoker, you have to do it old school and go outside. But that's our reviews for the week, and that's coming up. Now, I might have a review coming up in a week or two. I might be getting the PlayStation 4 camera. I might do some streaming and put my fat face in the bottom. Right. So I'm getting that itch. Like, the streaming ain't too bad. Even though nobody's watching, I'm enjoying talking to myself. I guess.
You got a few more weeks of doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
You can always start a Twitch channel.
I already have one.
Yeah, we already got the Fat Guys Little Podcast. We used to broadcast to all three, but then OBS doesn't like to do it, so.
Well, that's because now we got Corona. Thanks a lot, Corona.
Way to go, Corona.
So rapid fire, here we go this week. Again, we're dwindling down, but there is a couple things on here. Now, the first one, we're going to skip the movies because nothing really new's coming out. Trolls was the last one, and that's a bit about it, really.
Let me ask you a real quick question before you jump on. Is there any other movies that they're talking about releasing on demand? Have you seen anything about that for anyone?
No, not recently. I haven't. It's all up in the air. And a lot of them, the news I keep hearing is Disney Plus doesn't know if they want to just put stuff on Disney Plus or go on demand. They think that, like, they're holding the big ones back. Mulan and Black Widow, they think they're going to make money at the theater again, so they're trying to hold those back. So for Blu-ray this week, and it feels like we talk about this movie every other week, but we talked about it when it came out at the theater, then we talked about it when it came out on video on demand, and now we're talking about it because it's on Blu-ray. Bad Boys for Life. We finally, I think it's the last time we have to mention this movie. I don't need to buy it. I've seen it already. I think I'm good. So I'm a no on Bad Boys for Life. Bill?
I've already said everything I have to say about this.
He's out. He's tapping out on Bad Boys.
I'm going to use this time to my frustration with the fact that I don't follow movies very well. And so I literally was starting to Google You Get None. Thinking, I hadn't heard of a movie called You Get None. I wonder what it's about. So,
what is the IMDb for You Get None, by the way?
Sorry about that.
He's trying to inform himself on You Get None. Maybe
Charles,
that should be your autobiography's name, BB, is You Get None, the BV story.
Thanks.
I want to see it. It's going to come out for rental, and I need to talk about it next week on the podcast. So I'm going to bring it.
So we're not done with Bad Boys.
No, I'm going to watch it just to annoy everyone, dude.
Life.
For you, this is cool. We're changing to the Bad Boy cast. Just so
Yes.
you know.
I mean, I like the movie, but man, it feels like we've talked about it 100 times.
Yeah.
And that's literally it for Blu-rays. Now for streaming, there's a little bit. Extraction. This is.
Well, hold on. What's Like a Boss? You skipped over one. What is that?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did, didn't I? Like a Boss. That came out in theaters in January. That was Tiffany Haddish and the girl from Neighbors. They're two girls who made a business, and Selma Hayek bought their business and treated them wrong. I would rent it for $5. That's about as far as I go on that. So I'm a yes on Like a Boss. And Bill?
For free, maybe. That's as far as I'd go.
Tiffany
Charles?
Haddish, man, I'm out. I think she's
You don't-
a funny
you don't like her?
chick, but I actually think she's pretty funny. It's just give me something good she was in, and I'd like to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's tough.
She needs the perfect project to be good.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that fits her perfectly. Streaming now. Now this is what I went to. I skipped Like a Boss. Extraction. Now this is a big action movie with the guy who plays Thor, Chris Hemsworth. It's coming to Netflix. I'm not sure exactly what it is. He looks like he's military and he's extracting some kind of kid throughout a city, and everyone's chasing him. And there's supposed to be a lot of action. Man, I am gun shy on Netflix action movies, but I'll probably watch it because I don't have to pay for it. So I'm a yes on Extraction. Bill?
Yeah, I probably won't, but I wouldn't be against it if if for some reason, some strange reason, Abby wanted to watch it with her, but I probably won't seek it out.
Does she find Chris Hemsworth hot?
I have no idea.
Who does Abby find hot? I mean, aside from you. I mean, obviously. Like, what is her list of hot dudes?
I'm not really sure.
Oh man.
Ramones?
Competition.
I know she liked Vin Diesel.
Oh man,
years ago.
I could see the resemblance. I know why, BB. No
Oh,
competition there. BB, don't show him the guns, BB. I'm a no. It's gonna be a Netflix action movie. It's gonna suck. I'm a no.
Yeah. Now this next one is a mini series, I believe, coming on HBO this next weekend. Coming up, Bad Education. This is Hugh Jackman stars in this about the New Jersey School Board, and he's like a crooked.
Numbers,
Yeah, so it looks interesting to me. So I'm a big yes on this one. And Bill?
I still don't know what it is.
It's so basically school districts are now paid for analytics and all their numbers. So this is a superintendent who got over on how to fudge numbers in New Jersey, like Steve's describing. It looks super compelling. Hugh Jackman's not singing in it finally, so it looks good. Yeah.
If he's not singing, I'd probably give it a shot.
Yeah, that's the rule with Hugh Jackman. As long as he doesn't sing, he'll be good. So
that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, HBO's been swinging and missing with me lately. So don't be shocked if it's a stinker, guys.
Yeah, for me, HBO is just about to go the way of the WWE Network. I'm about to kill it.
Yeah, I'd say you're right in that one. I'll tell you.
Now, this last one is probably more up Holly or Lorna's alley than any of us. This looks like a straight Disney Channel show from back in the late or early 2000s. Just roll with it. It's a kids' comedy, sitcom, Disney Channel looking thing. I'm obviously a big no. Holly might watch it, though, so I'm a no. Bill?
No.
I'm a huge yes on Just Roll With It. I'm way into Saved by the Bell and all this. I can't wait for iCarly to get rebooted and everything. So, big yes from me.
Oh, man.
No, you're out of your mind. This looks like a turd.
I know, I was playing along. So that is really it. There's not a lot coming and going. Entertainment stuff. This includes sports. It's just, it's drying up quick. So we all got to go play board games on Charles's porch from the outside.
Just tell me what you need. We'll set up webcams. And
I rolled the dice.
Yeah.
I rolled 12. All right. So that's it for the rapid fire. There is some new game, and we'll talk about it a little later just for Lorna. That's coming out. So, but anyways, before then, UFC, Charles, what's happening with Dana White's stubborn ass?
Yeah, he's crazy. I'll tell you. So there was a big UFC conference call that happened discussing the COVID-19 and the impact.
Were you in on the call?
No, I wasn't. I don't own shares in it yet. It's not publicly released, so like your WWE eventually. But so I just thought I'd bring this up because I thought it was kind of funny. I brought up the points that were kind of laid out by Dana White and the UFC staff, and just to see what kind of what you guys thought about them. I thought they're all pretty reasonable, but Dana White always comes off reasonable initially, and then he just gets hard-headed to Steve's point. So here they are. So basically, he's telling you if a fighter doesn't feel safe, they don't got to fight. Event locations will remain secretive, which I thought was weird. I don't know why.
What's that going to be like Mortal Kombat? You're going to get on a boat?
You're going to get like an envelope halfway through the week. It's really weird. That was a weird note. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
White's going to talk with the governor of Nevada to see if they can hold some events at their UFC center, the one that you saw when you were out in Vegas but did get stopped at. He's going to prioritize the fighters who were going to fight with him because that's Dana White's weird loyalty thing. If you said you'd fight that last fight, he's going to make sure he takes care of you. He's offering support to anyone who has the health issues in their family, which is cool to see. But what does that mean? Like he'll buy them like a Big Mac or something. He says that catch weights are possible, but are unlikely. So in other words, like moving around weight classes and stuff like that, he pretty much wants to stay where you're at. The fighters are going to be having to choose between quartermen depending on limitations. So they basically might limit how many people you can bring to an event, which is pretty reasonable, but And then Fight Island is a real thing. Yeah, I thought you guys would need to know that. So make sure to check for future Fight Island updates from me. International Fight Week in Vegas is always a big thing for the UFC. They love to put this big event on in Las Vegas. It looks like it's doubtful. And then the UFC plans on hosting events every weekend starting May 9th. I don't know how. We're going to have to see how that goes. Steve's shaking his head going, that's crazy, but here we are. And then there will be readily available hospital and medical staff at all the events. So we're going to see. So he is dead set that he is going to hold events and
every weekend?
That's what he's claiming, dude. I don't know. Maybe he can get deemed essential business. Maybe he can get $18.5 million from Linda and then kick it over.
He's got to grease some palms in Nevada.
Yeah, that's crazy. What do you guys think of all that? What is your guys' opinion? I think it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, one thing I thought was right off the bat when you said fighters don't have to fight if they don't feel safe. Well, he does have a history of sort of taking care of his fighters, but he also has a pretty well-documented history of holding grudges. And I wonder if people aren't comfortable fighting, if they're going to get frozen out of opportunities in the future. And if that kind of pressure will make people that don't want to fight feel like they need to.
Yeah. I don't think it's as rosy like BV's describing. Like, if you don't want to, it's cool, man. We're just going to move on, but, we'll come back to you. Meanwhile, he's like, he's being a real bitch.
As soon as you turn him down, you'll never fight again.
Yeah, exactly. See you in Bellator in 6 months. Like, dude, it's crazy.
There's a lot of rumor that McMahon's pissed off at Reigns for backing out of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumor about
that. They've not allowed people to... they've basically told everybody not to mention his name on anything.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Getting crazy. I
and
tell you this
question,
much, though, too. Does Reigns have enough cachet to not worry about it, though? Is he a little untouchable at this point? What is your guys' opinion?
He's close.
Yeah.
But he's not full-blown superstar like Rock or something like that. But he's close.
About close as anyone that's not, Brock Lesnar, probably.
Well, didn't you guys have you guys didn't know for a fact, but didn't you guys have the assumption that Lesnar was dialing it back, and that's why he surrendered the title? Isn't that the opinion of you guys?
Yeah.
He's always had limited engagement contracts anyway. I mean, that's why there was this thing going back and forth that WWE was trying to hold out hope that Reigns would still do the match with Goldberg for WrestleMania, and then part of the reason it didn't happen is that Goldberg apparently only has so many dates in his calendar on his contract for a year, and they'd already done the match with Strowman and recorded it, and he didn't have any more. Like, he's done for the year and didn't want to wrestle anymore, so he wasn't going to do it at that point anyway. So if you got a big enough name and you negotiate the kind of deal, you can just dial it back because you only have so many required engagements a year.
My only question to you, Charles, is what does Fight Island look like, you think?
I'm super
Is
stoked.
it just octagons?
I don't know.
That
That sounds awesome. On the beach somewhere, dude. Like storms are rolling in. They're just beating the shit out of each other. I'm into it. I don't know.
There's just training rooms and octagons.
Dude,
It's
just
like,
crazy guys eating meat.
At what point is this going to turn into something like Lionheart, and they're going to be having UFC matches in somebody's empty swimming pool? Or
dude, I'm into it. I'm into it. Admittedly.
Dana White have a throne room in the middle of the island? Does he have that throne he sits on? That'd be a lot.
Sounds good.
I'd watch a pay-per-view there. No, $200. I'll pay for it.
I told you I was going to get that last pay-per-view just because I need some content. We are talking about it right now. I mean, if he can put on those events starting May 9th, man, he's going to have some eyeballs because we're all dying for some freaking sports, man. We are freaking killing for it.
Maybe they can let Fair Nux go on Fighter Island, too.
Yeah, dude. Just get every pugilism going, dude.
So I have a question for you, Charles. So if UFC goes public, right, and opening stock is $32, how many, if any, are you buying?
Dude, I'd at least get 10, at least. You know what I mean? Probably way more than that, but just in case Heather's listening, at least 10. How about that?
It should be only 10.
Yeah,
only 10.
Yeah, that she'll know about.
There's an IPO you want in.
Yeah, dude, for sure. That and an impossible meat. Those are the two things I'm waiting on right there.
Charles, the stock tip for 2020.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. UFC, Dana White got to grease the right palms, and I want to tour Fight Island. I'll be honest. The best is event locations will remain secret. What the hell?
He's going to let you know. They're going to kidnap the fighters 24 hours.
Yeah, blindfold them.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. They're going to pull up in like an 80s van and just grab them and throw them in there. I'm telling you. It's crazy.
It's like old school. They're just going to pull.
I mean, he legit would have had that event if those people didn't call and pull the plug. There's no doubt in my mind. He was going for that event. So he's crazy.
So that's the UFC and wrestling. A little look at both of those. Now we're going to go into some news. And apparently, I saw this news article. I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't look it up. NBC Universal Peacock, their streaming service, launched this week.
I got to tell you, you hit the nail on the head here. I didn't even know it launched. What? You know what I mean? Like, how much is it? Like, what's the details on it? Can either of you guys pull that up real quick on your PCs and tell me, like, what's on it? Like what? You know what I mean?
I'm looking at it right now.
What do you
got? Streaming USA episodes or something? USA shows?
Yeah, what is it?
See that article's wrong. It didn't launch, but the sign up launch. It starts this July. But you could sign up if you go to peacocktv.com. You can find it.
When I type that on mine, it goes immediately
Saved by the Bell
else.
and Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but these are old.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you can watch your Chris Lee Knows Best and $1 Million Listing, franchises.
Yeah.
I actually like the $1 Million
funny.
Listings, if I'm honest. I do like those shows. What's original on there? You got any original content either one of you two? Looking at?
They're coming with a new Saved by the Bell. And I've seen the trailer for it already. I don't know if you guys have.
Really?
Yeah.
How bad is that going to be?
Slater is the gym coach, and Jesse, she's a mom of some of the kids, and that's about all I know. It looked terrible from what I saw, but I never liked the original Saved by the Bell, so I may not be the target audience.
I did watch the original, but
I saw that they were relaunching Punky Brewster, and Soleil Moonfry still is smoking hot, dude. Oh my god.
There's two shows from the 90s everybody loved and I never liked. 90210 and Saved by the Bell. And I didn't like either one of them. I didn't get it. So I don't know. So
what's
you can sign
price?
up right
what's
now.
What's the details on the price? You got a price?
It's reading here. It's free for a basic, but a premium plan for $4.99 a month.
Is that commercial free for $4.99? Is that what you're saying?
It doesn't give you
describe the tiers. Wow.
Yeah, there's no definitive prices on some of this stuff. Yeah, Peacock Originals. One of them was Saved by the Bell. But Friday Night Lights is on there, Charles.
Ooh, I can already watch that on Hulu, though. I don't know. Maybe they're pulling it back, maybe.
Yeah, they're probably going to pull all NBC stuff off there. Care Bears is on there, so you can watch Care Bears if you want, or Where's Waldo. I don't know.
We talk about it all the time, guys. How many subscription services? You know what I mean? It's like when World of Warcraft was big, and all of a sudden every game wanted a tie-in subscription. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't. at some point, especially in this like coronavirus world where people are screaming they want $1,200, yet you want to launch like another. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. Like I've got $120 just in streaming services I pay for. Like no way, crazy.
So that's the Peacock. You can sign up now. It'll launch in July.
I hate the name of that. If I'm honest.
Yeah, it's the worst name they came up with.
So
I
bad.
don't. Couldn't they just call it Universal or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
dude, something. Peacock.
So now, Sam Raimi, Charles, are you familiar with his work?
Yeah, I'm well aware. He's way back in the day, Armored Darkness, but he also did the Spider-Man movies.
Well, he's stepping back into the Marvel Universe, and he'll be directing Doctor Strange 2. I don't know if you saw the
Doctor Strange.
He's Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange. He was in the Endgame. He's a wizard, essentially.
Here's what
modern
I
day
can
wizard.
promise both you guys right now. I'll make this promise.
You will not see that?
Nope.
I never liked the Doctor Strange character. We saw the first one. Michelle actually likes him better than I do, so I'll probably end up seeing it because of her, but not a big fan. He's a warlock. I'm the magic stuff. I'm not big into it. I don't know if you guys are. I don't think you are either. So Sam Raimi
though, I can tell by looking
I can
at
tell.
him. He's
got
into
a
mages
spell
and
book under the
warlocks.
camera.
Look at BB. He's all at the edge of his seat.
He's rolling his 20-sided die right now.
Yeah.
So, but Sam Raimi from the first 3 Spider-Man movies, he's back in the Marvel Universe. So that should be interesting, if anything else. Now, Charles, you love your Baby Yoda, correct?
I do, but I tell you this landed with a dud for me. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
with
they
you.
are. Disney Plus is going to have a documentary on making the first season of The Mandalorian. So they'll show you how they made Baby Yoda and all the ideas they came up with. I don't know if this is going to be a series or if it was just
I don't
an
know
hour.
if Disney Plus is just starved for content and they're just trying to like appease you so you don't cancel it. Is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm just saying. Like, at some point, like I saw this, like, oh man, Mandalorian, and then it was like a documentary series. Like, dude, get out of here with this. Like, who cares?
Yeah. So if you're starving for Mandalorian information and you want to know the behind the scenes of the first season, a documentary is coming your way shortly on Disney Plus. Now, this one, apparently your daughter's favorite fighting
Streets
game
of
of
Rage.
all time.
Dude, my daughter loves it.
I don't know if you've seen the previews. It's only going to be $30. Streets of Rage 4 is coming out for all the major systems, and the Switch. I think it's coming out
There's
for also.
no way that a beat 'em up in the year 2020 is gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different time. Streets of Rage was out when quarter culture was still there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. Like, this is just okay. You know what I mean?
Your
Like,
daughter?
how does it look? Does it got that next gen polish and everything like that?
No, they went 2D
I
animation
mean,
look.
come on, are we serious?
Yeah.
No way.
I mean, it looks okay. I'd rent it. I wouldn't buy it for $30.
Yeah, beat it. Like, it's meant to steal quarters from you. That's what Streets of Rage was. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here with this.
It's got a neat look to it, but it is coming out for all 4 PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox. This screams of something I would pick up on Steam for like $5 a couple years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
But
man, I played that Streets of Rage in like 2022. Yeah.
if you're missing die-hard, quarter-munching arcade games, there is a new one coming, and it's Streets of Rage 4. I only put it on there because I know Lorna loved the Streets of Rage
Yeah, she loves
game.
it. Yeah.
And then the last for the news, we got some reminder notes for the week. The NFL draft is Thursday. Anyone here excited about that?
Can you guys explain to me how they're doing it? Like, what's the game plan? BV, what are they doing? How
It's going to be all virtual.
What's that?
It's going to be all virtual.
It's a Zoom meeting.
Yeah. I mean,
From Roger Goodell's base.
Are we going to be able to
like-
hack the draft? Like, just show up?
Oh,
and
that'd be
random there?
hilarious.
ESPN's still going to do coverage, but I imagine they'll be doing it virtually too. You know, they probably won't have people in the studio together. And
So,
With
like,
all
if
the
you're a
teams are gonna be
big
drafting
draft,
people.
so like Joe Burrow's house or whatever, they're gonna put like a video camera at Joe Burrow's house. Is that?
I don't know.
You don't know the
how they're
particulars of
doing
it
that.
yet?
But
Oh, that's crazy.
And the other big event coming tonight, a lot of people are excited about this, but I've seen enough. What don't you know about Michael Jordan at this point? Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, and this is getting huge hype. I feel it's only because there's no sports and nothing else on television. I mean, the radio's talking about it. Everyone's talking. Bill, you're the biggest basketball fan out of the three of us. Are you tuning into the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary?
It is absolutely because there's nothing else to watch, and yes, I'm going to watch it.
Well, at least you're
because
honest,
I have nothing else to watch. No, I probably won't watch it live, but I have.
I wonder how deep they're going to get into it. Are they going to talk about his gambling issues and stuff like that? Like, is it going to be deep, or is it going to be kind of very like periphery? Like,
it's funny you should ask that. On the local, well, not local, Vegas sports books have over, under, and odds on different things about this documentary.
Oh, okay.
So you can bet who the first person besides Michael Jordan is going to come up. Like odds is Scottie Pippen is like 350 to 1. I forget what Phil Jackson's real high. Then they also have bets on if they're going to talk about gambling, if they're going to talk about his father, and you can place bets on everything about this documentary. That's how desperate sports books are.
Going around the room, what's everyone's opinion based on nothing other than like your own opinion? Did his dad get whacked because of his gambling issues? What is your guys' opinions?
Yes.
BV, you think so too?
I think there's a pretty good chance that it had something to do with it. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. He's got issues, man. He just needs that juice. So crazy. How many part series is it? Does anyone know? Is it just one?
10 parts.
10 parts. Wow. Yeah, they just need content. It's the Steve's point. 10 parts. Wow.
I have a feeling I'm going to be pulling a Steve on this and saying, I wish they had just done a 30 for 30 on it, showed it in like a 90-minute or 2-hour show. And,
oh man, dude, the Tiger King. And
I hope this is going to be a real deep dive then, because for 10 episodes, they're going to need to.
And I'm not trying to knock basketball or Michael Jordan, but if they did a 10-part documentary on Joe Montana, I don't think I'd sit through it. It's like, really?
Yeah, but to BV's point, you got nothing else going. You know what I mean?
Get it. I play Call of Duty.
Well, maybe it was a real chaotic time or something. I think it's supposed to be chronicling the last year that the last championship year before Phil Jackson left, and so maybe there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on, and it's enough. Enough to cover 10 episodes. Yeah. I'm going to guess probably not, but
if they go into his dark gambling past, there might be 10 episodes there.
But you got to have something else on ESPN to watch other than like the 2019 Johnsonville, cornhole championships.
Well, they can put Madden simulations on like other people.
Oh yeah, no, they had that on earlier this morning. They had the Celebrity Madden Championships.
Wow. Oh wow, who won?
Steve's oddly into it. Yeah.
The two players that I remember in the semifinals were Hollywood Brown from the Ravens and Stephon Diggs.
So there you go. There's some sports coming up this week. I don't know how much people will be into it, but I think it's getting a lot more pub just because there's nothing else right now. I mean, 97.1 was talking about this Jordan documentary like forever. And I was like, all right. And also, I want to know what the sports talk and ESPN's going to talk about when the draft is over. I mean, I guess they'll talk about the players for a week or two of who they got, but that's all 97.1 talks about is Stafford, the draft, and what to do in the draft. So they were making jokes that the GM from the Lions, his Wi-Fi would cut out right before they had to pick because that's the Lions' luck. But
are you guys gonna watch the virtual draft? I gotta check it out. I'm definitely gonna just tune in to see what the story is. Well,
I watch draft every year. I just put it on the TV and do other things, So the first 2 rounds definitely while I'm playing Madden or doing whatever.
The draft's a tough watch. I think the draft, you can't watch the draft. You can't sit down appointment TV and watch. It's totally a background, throw it on a TV, and you know what I mean? Like, especially because you could find out everything you need to know like later on in like a 2-second read. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough to watch in real time.
You can't pull up
the time when I would sit down and watch both. Back when it was Saturday, Sunday, there was a time I would sit down and watch both days of the draft, the entire thing start to finish.
It's impressive.
Without doing anything else, just watching the draft?
I may do stuff in the background on Sunday, but particularly like that first couple rounds on Saturday, I just sit there and watch the draft.
That's crazy. Could never do that. I'd fall asleep so fast.
I get so bored. Especially because they take that whole 15 minutes to pick, and they had to pick it in the first 30 seconds.
I don't think they get that long anymore. I think it's only 10 minutes, so it moves along a little faster.
And then you got to listen to Kuiper and Todd McShay argue over who they think's going to go next. Like, dude, it is brutal.
Well, I mean, as far as the Lions are concerned, though, I haven't seen a single. You see all these mock drafts everywhere. I haven't seen a single mock draft that had the Lions taking anyone other than that Jeff Okudah from Ohio State, the corner.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like there's at least not supposed to be a whole lot of drama. Although they might find a way to take some
the
the
Lions
7th rated wide receiver
at
at the draft. They'll take with the number 3 pick.
That's crazy.
So for the news, you got the Peacock launching in July. You can sign up right now. Sam Raimi's back in Marvel, directing Doctor Strange 2. The Mandalorian documentary, Charles could care less about. Lorna, Streets of Rage 4 is coming out, but no one wants to pay $30 for that. And then, of course, the draft is this week with the Michael Jordan documentary. Now, we're going to end on this because I was talking to Michelle about this, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this. So, obviously, the Disney parks, all of them are going to open back up eventually. I don't know when that is. That could be end of July, August. So, my question to you guys is, are they going to lower prices to get people in right away, or you think they're going to hike the prices up to make up for all the money they've lost in the past 4 or 5 months? What do you guys think, and what do you think their strategy will be?
I don't think they're going to touch the price. So my whole thing is, having seen those beaches that we were just discussing, they're going to have no issue. The minute that Florida and Disney decides to go ahead, they're going to pack that park like any other time. If you saw those things that me and BV were talking about, people would just want something to do, and now they think people are oddly treating this time like it's a vacation. You know what I mean? Like the government gave us a month off to go and hang out, and they're missing the concept of locking down, is what I'd argue. BV, you think the same way?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to touch prices at all. And they may do some small promotions just to put out there for their advertising, but I don't think they're anything significant. I don't know about Disneyland in California, but you take Disney World in Orlando. I mean, if there is one attraction in this country that's bulletproof, it's frickin' Disney World. I mean, people, religiously go to this thing. How my sister goes at least once or twice a year.
Jeez, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They'll go because that's what they do, and people be dying to do stuff. And you have all these people and they'll probably be able to go there before they'll open up to cruises. And I think that's going to be one of the major destination spots for people when things start to open back up, because they'll have access. There won't be, probably the level of restrictions will be for other things, and it'll be business as usual for Disney.
Yeah.
I don't think anything will change at all.
Now, do you think they're going to...
I went last January, and I was so miserable. Oh, my God. Especially right now, like I just told you guys, I'm not going to a restaurant tomorrow. You couldn't pay me to go into a Disney park. Like, those people are asses to elbows. There's no way you can social distance that park. It's impossible.
Well, that's the second part of the question that we brought up when I was talking to Michelle. Are they going to limit the numbers of people, and are they going to have, like, say, Bill bought tickets, he can only go Tuesday at 3, and then he can go to the next park at Wednesday at 4? You think they'll limit who can come and cannot come into the park?
I don't think they'll forcibly limit. They'll suggest limits, is what I think, and they'll suggest social distancing. But, like, if it were in any other state, I would say, but, like, Florida is the Wild West right now. It is unbelievable what's going on down there. I don't know, man. I just don't know how you do it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, BV, you think differently?
I think they'll put lip service to it. They might try to stress people to social distance whenever possible. But I think the amount of restrictions that are put into that park will be directly related to the restrictions that the state requires for all places going forward. They're not going to put any additional restrictions that could affect the bottom line just because they're trying to be more conscious than the state of Florida. Their business is not protecting the United States from spiking of virus. It's from making maximum profit.
Yeah.
And they'll do what they need. They'll do whatever. I think they'll do whatever they're permitted to do by law.
I just thought of something as BV was talking, as I was like, the one thing that we're not factoring in, and Steve might have touched on something, the foreign traveler that just can't get here to fill those parks. When you go to those parks in Orlando, they are so full of foreign travelers. It's unbelievable. Like, it is literally multicultural when you go in there. So they might still feel a pinch. It's entirely possible. Steve might have hit on something now that I'm thinking about it with the foreign traveler issues. What is your and Michelle's opinion?
We believe that initially, well, this is before I saw you guys tell me about the beach thing in Florida. Initially, I think people are going to be hesitant. So their traffic is going to be down. So I think initially they're going to have to offer some kind of promotion, some kind of like come to the hotel, might get a free night stay, something along that lines. Maybe they don't reduce the ticket prices, but they're going to offer some kind of value packages to get people's asses back in there. But then if they open up and it looks like the Florida beaches, they ain't going to do anything. They're just going to pile them in there and collect the money.
Yeah, but then they furloughed the majority of their workforce. So I think what they probably will do is they won't bring everybody back at one time. They'll scale it. They'll bring back sort of a smaller percent, a smaller percentage or a certain percentage of the workforce, and then they won't scale all the way back up to their full staff until they have the kind of numbers that they're used to getting. I don't know that. I mean, they're not going to be the kind of company that's going to be in danger of going under because sales are down for 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think that they're going to go. I mean, they may run some promotions to get people in, but I think just the fact that that business might be slightly down from what it was pre-pandemic is going to really slow them down or make them change course at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll tell you this much, guys. So I had a conversation with the higher ups at my hotel, and about them projecting out the rest of the year. Like, okay, so like we talked about earlier, if Trump tomorrow goes, hey, the world's back open, Steve can go to Applebee's, BV can go to Longhorn, you know what I mean? Like everything's back open.
Why does he get to go to Longhorn?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just talking about
you can have Longhorn. So.
Yeah,
I want Texas
Roadhouse for that matter. I mean,
but the hotel's projecting still under 50% occupancy because of the fact that just because you open it doesn't mean people are going to feel comfortable. And I think that is one of the biggest things that I think Disney could take a hit based on the closed international borders, based on I'm talking like this, but that beach thing is unbelievable, Steve. So I might be completely off base. Those people were like 8 and 10 deep that fast. It was like they were just waiting for them to take the chain down. It's unbelievable. So I might be completely off base and just talking out of my Michigan ass at this point. So
Michelle's cousin called her, the one in Minnesota, and they've opened all the lakes, the beaches, the parks, and the golf courses in Minnesota.
But didn't BV just say that Wisconsin, the neighbor to Minnesota, just extended their lockdown to?
Well, Minnesota don't give a fuck.
But they may have. I mean, they may have released a little bit of the. I think that golf courses have been opened up in a lot of places.
It's just I don't know, man. That's the confusing part, though, from living in the United States of America. No one in another country will ever understand that. Like, yeah, you're free to go to wherever you want to, but there are weird rules that exist. Like, weirdly enough, it's just, I don't get it.
Well, what about people even going back to work? Like, I mean, obviously, you'll probably won't have too much problem going back to VR Metro, but like we were, our office, the legal department was supposed to be moving downtown into the CME building, the Mercantile Exchange building, where we have space, right Wacker Drive, right in the middle of the loop, the beginning of April. And so when they first sent us, home, they said, well, when we go back, maybe 2-3 weeks to pack up and set up, and then you're moving. I'm not going to be comfortable going down. Even into June, I'm not going to be comfortable just starting to go down to Chicago 4 days a week in an office where we have 3 or 4 floors and people are packed in like sardines. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to feel the same way I do about it. It's just,
well, I'll tell you, not whatever, but I'll tell you this though, BB, and talk about your discomfort. The hotel, again, got out front of it now. You can no longer furlough. You can only take a leave of absence. So say, for example, BP tells BV's ass, you got to bring your ass here. They're not going to let BV take a furlough. He has to take a medical leave of absence, and say he's not safe in that environment now. Like there's a change now that's happening that basically says you're denying work. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't apply to BV and his particular discipline that he's into, but I'm saying like the average worker who is now like, well, hold on, like why should I come here? And once the hotel or once these industries start to say, hey, look, I got hours for you. If you don't feel comfortable, you're no longer on furlough. You're taking a leave of absence and you can't collect unemployment. So it's getting to that time where like you have to like make a conscious effort of like, how am I going to do this for me and my family? You know what I mean? So it's getting crazy.
Yes, it is. I also noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed, I've got the Dave Markey wave in the front of my hair now.
There you go. BV's got a pretty gnarly beard going right now. You going to shave it all or you going to let it go?
I haven't, and I was going to, but then we have to do these virtual happy hours at work, and I was like, yeah, this is bad. They're like, no, I'm making a Corona beard and see how long it'll go before we go back to work. And I don't know. It's pretty freaking scraggly, especially on the
itchy?
side.
How itchy is it?
No, it's not itchy at all.
No?
It's
just when he goes down on people.
Oh, hello.
Wow.
I can't do facial hair anymore. I know you guys rock the OG goatees and stuff like that. I've been so many years now removed from it. Like if my facial hair, like this is about as long as I can get it without it making me mental. It just drives me up a wall. I can't do it anymore.
Well, mine all turns, I mean, it's still right here, but the whole side of my cheek just turns gray.
You gotta do the Gabe, dude. You gotta bring out that just for men, dude. Yeah.
I have to get a can of black spray paint and just start hitting the side of my head. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So, all right, well, this is going to wrap us up for this week. Of course, we want to thank Bill for being here. And then watch out for the Corona. It seems to be everywhere. Check us out on fatguyslittlepodcast.com. Of course, you can also check us out on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify and iHeartRadio and all over the place. Check out our YouTube channel. You'll see some of my gameplay videos where I'm mumbling through them. You can barely hear anything. There'll be some Twitch videos coming up for our multiplayer on Call of Duty. You can see us old guys get smoked a little more. But we're holding our own a little bit. And until next week, of course, this is Steve.
Charles.
And Bill. We'll check you guys.